that was more of a pragmatic sort of thing that happened gradually as we went from I think it was the New Deal. It was
it the
FDR.
promising of all the goodies by the Democrats? Is that what happened?
I've literally
dumbed
what
it down, but is that what happened?
That's literally what happened.
Okay.
Is it now? And part of that was because it was during a period where, oddly enough, Democrats were keeping blacks out of positions where they could acquire material wealth.
Right.
But this particular Democrat offered a few crumbs, so so they, the blacks at the time made a Faustian bargain with the government. It's like, okay, well, we need something because you're holding us down on one hand. Well, maybe we'll take some crumbs out of your hand from the other. And that kind of went back and forth a little bit between the late 40s and the 60s, and here we are.
I'll tell you, I'd say over the last 10 years, we've seen the meteoric rise of the black conservative movement.
Oh yeah, and I think we're making a comeback essentially. That we're taking back the political power that we've ceded by being a monolith.
Back to the party of Lincoln.
Yeah, back to the party of Lincoln.
Let me ask you this, because Tim knows, we had that event with Burgess Owens.
Yes.
That the Weekend Report and the Tim Jones Show co-sponsored, and Burgess has talked a lot about what you're talking about now. Gabe, you were at that event as well.
It was great.
Are the black conservatives making a comeback, or have they always been there and now they're just willing now more to go out and speak, whereas before they were so shunned by their community that it was just not worth going out and making your opinion felt?
There might be a little bit of both. I mean, the thing is, the voting booth is private, so that 90% generally Democrat vote was indicative of where black folks were going politically. But I think the outspoken black conservatives has been making a lot of headway, and that is helping to give other people permission to rethink their politics.
Gotcha. So Gabe, where are you on, with everything you've just told us, where are you on the Kavanaugh issue?
Just confirm him already.
Okay.
In the words of my wife, just confirm him already. Stop all the madness.
Let me ask you about your wife.
Yes.
What did she think about, as I'm sure the most important woman in your life? Did her reactions change at all over the last few weeks with the Ford testimony? And now what I've said is the Ford testimony is not aging well. It's turning into vinegar, not fine wine.
Yeah.
And the more cracks are being exposed. So where have the women in your life been on the Ford thing?
Well, now everything I'm going to say is me paraphrasing my wife. So don't throw stones at me, guys.
No air quotes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now she's had an experience in her life that is almost exactly that. Somebody on top of her, government, and it was her brother.
Oh my!
So she's aware of what it is to be that woman that Ford is claiming to be, and she wasn't buying it.
Wow! Really?
She said I'm not sure about this lady.
Something wasn't ringing true to her.
Something wasn't ringing true. She mentioned something about how she was doing something weird with her voice during while she was reading her testimony.
Vocal fry.
Yeah, I've heard that from more women.
She was doing when you go into a high pitched voice because you're asking for something.
I hate to, but I said the same thing when I was watching in the studio. I'm like, wow, she seems very vulnerable, and I don't know if it's because she feels that way or if it was because she was told to play a part.
We had a couple callers this week on this show and maybe Dave's show too, women that said, I didn't buy the baby boo-boo voice that she went
Laura Ingram had a body language expert that said what did you call that, Katie?
Vocal fry.
Vocal fry.
Yeah, Tony and I talked about this. It's vocal fry. It's an actual
I've
thing.
never heard of that.
Vocal fry is when you do, it's like the Valley Girl talk. It's like when you like, it's like this, and you drag everything out.
Okay.
That's called vocal fry, and she was definitely doing that.
Learned something today.
Yeah, and it wasn't something that I noticed or picked up on, but we've had women callers. You just talked about your wife. My wife and other women that I know have all pointed that out, that exact thing out as well. And they have, like I said on this show yesterday, I've heard way more criticism about her and her story from the women in my life than most of the men, because I think most of the men don't want to, when I look at her, I think there's something. I think something happened.
Something happened to her that was
something in her past.
Sure.
She was very traumatic.
She's a traumatized woman.
Right. And so I see that and I say that, and then I hear women in my life go, nah, her story's bogus.
So Dianne Feinstein and the left completely used her, didn't they?
Oh yeah, she was a pawn. I think she was victimized by the Democrats.
By the Democrats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Gabe, were you always a Trump guy, or have you become to like him? Where are you on that? Where are you on the whole Trumpian?
I won't say I was a never Trumper or anything like that during the primaries. I was not thrilled about him and the momentum he was carrying through the process. I was like, wait, what's happening right now? I think a lot of us who are
what ride am I on? Yeah.
A lot of us who are used to politicians with a little more polish on them, and who could come across very well, we were trepidatious about Trump being the nominee. Now, once he was a nominee, obviously, it was kind of I'm just going to bite the bullet and vote because, oh my gosh, Hillary Clinton, right? Yeah. So it's like sure. And the other thing too is I wasn't completely sure about his political affiliation. Trump's a New York businessman.
Yep,
I'm from New York, and most of those guys
they're not ideologues.
They're not ideologues.
They're doers.
Yeah,
they're doers.
Yeah, exactly.
One of Gabe's episodes on what's the title of it? It's about basically coming to terms
in defense
of President Trump.
Nice.
It's a great episode. You need to go check it out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gabe, can you hang for another segment or so?
Most definitely.
Okay, well, we'll continue with Gabe Phifer, the AKA St. John the Philosopher. We literally have a rocket scientist right here in our midst.
Yes, sir.
So Tony and I are just, we're just in Gabe's world.
I'm the furthest thing from a rocket scientist.
Hey, it's